Sometimes, a small act of kindness looks like nothing to the world. But for someone hurting inside, that tiny act can change everything. This is the story of a lonely man, and how a simple gesture saved his life in a way no one expected. There was a man named Mr. Ravi, around 55 years old. He lived in a quiet neighborhood, in a small old house at the corner of the lane. People saw him every day, walking slowly to the bus stop, carrying a worn-out bag, eyes always on the ground. He didn't talk to anyone. He didn't smile much. If you looked at him, you would think he preferred being alone. But the truth was different. Ravi wasn't alone by choice, he was alone because life had taken away the people he loved. Years ago, he had a family. A wife who adored him. A daughter who filled his home with laughter. But life, as it often does, took a painful turn. His wife passed away from an illness. His daughter moved to another city for work. And slowly, silence became his only companion. Days passed. Months passed. And Ravi's world became smaller and smaller, shrinking into that old house and that lonely walk to the bus stop. People saw him, but no one really saw him. Every morning, he went to the same tea stall near the station. He sat on the same bench. He ordered the same cup of chai. It wasn't because he loved the tea. It was because that was the only place where he heard human voices, even if none of them were for him. One chilly morning, something different happened. A small boy, maybe 10 or 11 years old, came running to the shop. He looked tired, and his school bag was almost bigger than him. The boy sat beside Ravi and sighed loudly, as if the whole world was on his shoulders. Ravi glanced at him. The boy looked frustrated, maybe even sad. And for the first time in many months, Ravi spoke to someone. He asked gently, "Long day at school?" The boy didn't look up. He just nodded. Ravi smiled softly and said, "Don't worry. Hard days don't stay forever." The boy finally looked at him. Surprised. Because people rarely spoke to him either. Ravi lifted his hand and called the shop owner. "One more chai. And give the boy a bun," he said. The boy's eyes widened. "No, no sir. I have no money." "It's okay." But Ravi insisted. "Let me do this. Think of it as a small treat." The boy hesitated, then accepted. They sat together quietly. No big conversation. No emotional talk. Just two people sharing a warm drink on a cold morning. To Ravi, it was nothing more than a small act. But to the boy, it was the first kind gesture he had received in a long time. A week passed. Then another. Life continued the same way for Ravi, lonely, silent, predictable. But one day, he didn't come to the tea stall. Nor the next day. Nor the day after that. The boy, whose name was Arun, noticed. He looked for Ravi every morning. And he felt uneasy. So one afternoon, he asked the tea stall owner, "Uncle, where is that old man who sits here every day?" The shop owner sighed. "I heard he fell sick. Lives in that old house near the corner. No one visits him." Arun felt a sudden heaviness in his chest. The man who bought him a bun, the man who spoke to him with kindness, was lying alone, sick, with no one to take care of him. Arun went home, but he couldn't stop thinking about it. After a long inner battle, he gathered courage and told everything to his mother. Her heart melted immediately. Without wasting time, she packed some homemade food and said, "Let's go, kindness should be returned." They walked to Ravi's house. The door was slightly open. They called his name, but no response. Finally, they stepped inside. And there was Ravi, lying weak on the bed, pale, dehydrated, struggling to even sit up. His eyes widened in surprise when he saw them. "Arun, how did you?" Arun stepped forward and said, "You weren't at the tea stall, sir, so we came to see you." Ravi tried to smile, but tears filled his tired eyes. For weeks he had been sick. No one knew. No one cared. No one checked. But now, someone had come. Arun's mother gave him food, helped him sit up, checked his temperature, and even gave him medicine. She said softly, "You should have told someone." Ravi looked down and whispered, "Who would I tell? I have no one left." Arun's mother placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You have us now," she said. Those 4 words broke something inside him. Not in a painful way, but like a locked door opening after years. For the first time since losing his family, someone had knocked on the door of his loneliness. Arun visited him every day after school. Sometimes he brought homework. Sometimes he brought stories. Sometimes he just sat beside Ravi so he wouldn't feel alone. Arun's mother checked on him daily, brought meals, helped him recover. Slowly, the old house started to feel alive again. And slowly, Ravi started to heal. Not just from his illness, but from the loneliness he had carried for years. Months passed. Ravi became healthier, stronger, and more cheerful. He started going to the tea stall again. But this time, not alone. Arun often walked beside him, holding his hand. And the people who once ignored Ravi now smiled when they saw him. One day, at the tea stall, the shop owner joked, "Looks like you found a new family, Ravi Bhai." Ravi smiled, a real, heartfelt smile. Something he hadn't done in years. He looked at Arun and said, "Yes. It all started with just one small act of kindness." Dear listener, we often think kindness needs to be big. We think it needs money, or power, or grand gestures. But most of the time, it only needs a moment. A smile. A gentle word. A small step towards someone who feels invisible. Because you never know. The tiny act you do today might save someone's life tomorrow. Kindness doesn't always return in the same shape, but it always returns. And sometimes, it returns in ways that change your whole world.